How we doing, everybody? It's Coach Alex from Maximize Potential coming at y'all with another Wellness Wednesday. I cannot believe that the year is almost over, but as we know, as another one ends, there's just a brand new year right around the corner. This is going to be the perfect time to start setting goals and envision exactly what we want over the next year. But before we get into that, if you haven't noticed, our cold weather gear is finally here. We've got sweaters, sweatpants, beanies, and a good assortment of hoodies. We've still got a handful of deals going on right now, so go ahead and grab some stuff while the deals are still on. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down in the comments below. Today we're talking about New Year's resolutions and how to stick to them. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. People everywhere are starting to think about what they want for their New Year's resolutions this upcoming year. Now these can be financial goals, social goals, health goals, but regardless of what it is, these goals help keep us accountable and give us opportunity for change. Though we may not always feel like we achieve these goals, studies have actually shown that people who set these goals or these resolutions are 10 times more likely to invoke change into their lives. So whether we've never set a resolution before or we're just kind of questioning on what kind of resolution that we want, I'm going to go ahead and give us a handful of tips on how exactly we can find, set, and measure these goals throughout the year. Now the very first tip that I want to give us is that we want to set SMART goals. Now when I say SMART goals, of course I want us to be thinking out these goals. But SMART actually stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So starting up at the top, we want our goals to be specific. We want to have an intended outcome that must be clearly defined. So if you say, I want to lose weight, this is pretty vague and has no objective way to know when it's actually achieved. A specific goal would be, I want to lose 5 pounds, which details when that goal will be met. Next is going to be measurable. Your goal progress should be objectively measured and tracked with hard data. This is where I highly recommend using training apps like TeamBuildr to track your fitness or FitIndex for weight goals. If you don't have your tools available, that's okay. You can always start by writing down the beginning steps of your goals. The next is that these goals should be attainable. Now, of course, these goals should be challenging, but they should be achievable. If these goals aren't necessarily challenging, this person may not put in sufficient effort. But if these are too challenging, then you may become discouraged and stop following the plan. Now these last two are probably going to be the most important. Make sure that your goal is realistic. Remember, these goals have to be relevant to your life. Even though these goals may be attainable at face value, you always have to take into consideration the context of your lifestyle. So for example, it may be unrealistic for a very busy business person who works 10 to 12 hours a day to want to say, hey, I want to lose 100 pounds in 6 months. Even though this goal could be achievable for a lot of people, understanding the context of your life and observing the obstacles that you have is going to make sure that we actually set these goals and make them more realistic. This last one is going to be timely. To properly measure and track goals, they need to be in a specific time frame with frequent self-check-ins. Time frame should be challenging and realistic as the intended outcome. It should be short enough to build urgency, but honestly, it should be long enough to allow for 1 or 2 slip-ups. Great, so some of us already know about SMART goals. So with that in mind, what else can we do to set these resolutions? Well, another tip is going to be to limit your resolutions. Some people decide to have an entire list of goals, when in all reality, the best way for us to burn out and fail is to spread our attention too thin among each of them. Achieving even one goal can increase your overall self-belief and give yourself confidence to strive for larger goals. Most people don't realize how many smaller steps are involved with reaching these goals. So if we set larger goals, break up that goal into smaller chunks and work on each one at a time. This of course is going to take some planning, which brings me on to the next tip. Put time into planning. Don't wait until the last minute to set your goals. Choosing your goals wisely, then putting time into planning is essential for knowing exactly what those first steps are to take. So knowing why exactly are you doing this? How will you be approaching these obstacles when presented with them? We can do this by learning from our past mistakes. If you do decide to choose to reach for the same or similar goals that you've tried in the past, spend some time evaluating your previous results. Which strategies worked for you the best? Which were the least effective? What has prevented you from keeping those resolutions in the past year? Identifying these obstacles and then identifying what caused them is going to be the best way for us to learn how to avoid these in the future. And finally, this last tip, always remember that change is a progress. There is no progress without struggle, and we have to be patient. If you set a goal to rid yourself of an undesirable habit, remember that that habit probably didn't happen overnight. It most likely grew over a span of months or years, so we can't expect this habit to resolve within days, weeks, or sometimes even months. That being said, always remember that you yourself are incredibly strong, capable, and valued. It doesn't matter if you move towards or away from your goals. What matters is that we always keep moving. The ball doesn't roll unless we push it. But that's about all I got for us today, y'all. Hope we learned something new. Like I mentioned earlier, our cold weather gear is here. We still have those deals going on, so go ahead and grab some stuff while the deals are still on. Remember, y'all, this is always a conversation, so don't forget to leave a like, comment down below with anything that you learned, any questions that you may have, or suggestions for future content that you want to see. But other than that, I'm Coach Alex. Y'all be good, drink some water, and I'll see y'all on the next one.